And we are live. Welcome back to Sports Scrutiny, guys, the hottest channel on YouTube, covering the hottest topics in today's sports. I'm BJ.
And I'm Rob. And I would like to start the show first by taking a moment to send our condolences and our prayers. I speak on behalf of Sports Scrutiny and BJ and our family and our friends over here. Send our prayers over to all the families that were affected and all the people that were injured and all the people that were killed over in Las Vegas. So I would like to take, a moment of silence here for those folks.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, this is tragic, man. That whole situation's tragic. No motive, no
Yeah.
nothing. Just decided I'm gonna shoot people. But guys, we got some
Very.
great topics for you tonight. I'm gonna let Rob start us off.
Yeah, we're gonna start with the NFL. We had a very, very fun week 4. First, I'll start off with the Thursday night game. We had a very injury stressed Packers. They actually topped the mistake heavy Bears 35-14. Aaron Rodgers played very average, in my opinion, going 18 for 26. He did have the 4 touchdowns, but if not for the 3 Bears turnovers, this would have been a very different ball game. And then I have the Saints. They went to Miami and they shut out the Dolphins 20-0. Drew Brees goes 29 for 41 for 268 yards with 2 touchdowns. That was a good game. Saints actually got to shut out the Dolphins. That was fun to watch. Then we have the Falcons, their first loss to the Bills, bro. The Bills.
To the
Bills.
Bills.
The Bills
To
are
the
on fire
Bills.
this year. But the Falcons dropped to the Bills 23-17.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan did not surprise me, going 24 for 42 and throwing 2 picks. Tyrod Taylor goes 12 for 20, but only 1 touchdown. The Bills pull a W out from Atlanta. And then Le'Veon Bell runs and runs and runs all over the Baltimore Ravens. The Steelers win 26-9. And in that very same division, we had the Bengals versus the Browns, and the Bengals topped the Browns 31-7. Domination over there in the AFC North. The Rams held off Dak and Ezekiel Elliott and the Cowboys. Todd Gurley goes off, 23 carries for 121 yards. The Rams topped the Cowboys 35-30. Clemson's Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans. He goes 25 for 34 for 283 yards and accounts for 5 touchdowns. The Texans dominate the Titans 57-14. 57.
57 to 14. Gee.
And then we have the Detroit Lions beating the Vikings 14-7. Matthew Stafford went 19 for 31, 209. He had a good game. And then probably the most exciting game, most talked about game of the week was the Carolina Panthers going into Foxborough and holding off a victory against Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. The Panthers beat the Patriots 33-30. Cam was Cam of old, going 22 of 29, 316 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 pick.
Dude,
BJ, what do you?
everybody's talking about Cam Newton.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I mean? Cam Newton, he comes out of nowhere with with these wins. I mean, I think what he was doing was just trying to show up Eli Manning, because that's exactly what he did. He showed him up.
basically yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And now we
But
have
just to go back real quick, Rob, just to go back to talk
okay,
about The Bears and the Pack well, not the Bears and the Packers. Yeah, the Bears and the Packers, man. Devontae Adams he was thrown a 5-yard touchdown. Randall Cobb with a 2-yard touchdown. Aaron Rodgers throws Jordy Nelson a 4-yard touchdown, and again with an 8-yard touchdown pass. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was putting on a clinic, man. I mean, he was putting on a clinic, bro.
Yeah, he did all right, but I'm like I had
I
mentioned
think he's
before,
establishing this. I think he's
if not
establishing
for
himself.
yeah, this isn't anything that he hasn't done before, This is the same Aaron
True.
Rodgers that we see every year.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then where was I at? Cam Newton, we had North Carolina, and then we have the New York Jets. They are now 2-2 after winning over the Jags in overtime, 23-20. Then the 49ers fall to 0-4 after the loss to the Cardinals in overtime, 18-15. Carson Palmer went 33-51 for 357 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 pick. Then the Eagles win a close one in Los Angeles, and the Chargers fall to 0-4, another 0-4 team. Eagles 26 and Chargers 24. LeGarrette Blount, though, rushed for 136 yards on only 16 carries. Then the Buccaneers, they cut it close and send the Giants another 0-4 team. Send the Giants 0-4 Sunday after a 25-23 win. That was a close one. Jameis Winston tosses 3 touchdowns for 332 yards. That was actually a really fun game to watch.
I caught that one.
And then we have, coming into week 4, we had the 2-1 Oakland Raiders. They go to Denver and lose 10-16. Denver's Justin Simmons intercepted an E.J. Manuel pass in the closing minutes. Unfortunately, Derek Carr had a back injury, I believe, in the third quarter, and he had left the game. So now Oakland is 2-2. The Seahawks and the Colts, that was started out to be a boring game. It was really slow. It was a really slow first half, but then Seattle put it on in the second half and surged to win 46-18. Incredible second half for the Seattle
But that's kind
Seahawks.
of become pretty common here, man. These slow starts to these games, man. Do you think it's just them coming off the preseason? Because if you go back to that Saints and the Dolphins game, I mean, it was 3-0 at halftime. You know what I'm saying? Like, it started off pretty slow, but Drew Brees finished the game with 268 yards, and he hadn't turned the ball over all season. So that's pretty good. But these slow starts, man, I mean, it's working for some teams, but some teams it ain't working for, bro.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Like
thinking
the Giants.
maybe some of the team strategies, maybe they're focusing too hard on controlling the clock rather than, because over these past few years, there's been a lot of big risk plays,
Yeah,
big
yeah.
passes down the field that have pulled off and then others that haven't pulled off. And, maybe that has something to do with it.
And also on that Saints game, the Dolphins actually started off hard, bro. Massive 91-yard drive, and it resulted, after all that hard work to get that 91-yard drive, it resulted in an interception, and then I mean, I think that just kind of stuffed their confidence in a way.
Yeah, that probably
Lutz made
plays
the
a big part.
Oh yeah, Lutz made the field goal, and I mean he missed the field goal. Excuse me, he missed the field goal, leaving them at 3-0. And then the second half of the game, it was all Saints, man. It was all Saints.
Oh yeah, yeah. They, like I said, they shut them out.
Oh yeah.
And then we had the final score of the weekend was the Monday Night Football game. We had the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Washington Redskins.
Skins.
I
Oh yeah.
actually watched that game. It was a good one. Kansas City holds off Washington to win 29-20. The closing seconds of the game was Actually, it was a field goal that put the Chiefs in the lead with, I think, around 7 seconds to go. The Chiefs were in the lead 23-20, and then the Redskins tried to do this little tossing the ball around on the kickoff and ended up fumbling it, and Kansas City
Yeah.
picked it up and ran it in. So it ended the game 29-20. That was
Yeah.
boys over there in Kansas City are really putting on a show this first quarter of the season.
Oh yeah.
What you think about this going on? You got anything on the
Man, I
NFL?
just let me see here. Just some. I got a few. Let me see here. I got some injuries. Some
Oh,
pretty
some injuries? That's an understatement.
not some injuries, but I was talking to me and Rob were talking earlier today, and Rob said they were brittle. I tried to take up for him and say, hey man, these guys put themselves through hell. You know what I'm saying? Rob's like, no, they're just brittle. But what we got? This is what we got for this week, guys. Safety Kurt Coleman, knee injury. Um, like he's out with a knee injury. Julio Jones is out with a hip injury. Mohamed Sanu is a hamstring injury, which is a huge blow to the Falcons. Huge blow to the Falcons. Vikings running back Dalvin Cook suffered a scary non-contact injury. What that means, like non-contact, is he didn't get hit when he got injured. Like he stepped wrong, he placed his foot wrong, he pushed it wrong, he did something wrong, and he's got a real bad torn ACL. Rob just confirmed to me that it is official that
Yeah.
he has some damage to the
Yeah,
ACL. Which
Dalvin, he's on my fantasy team, and I got like 6 or 7 alerts on Sunday letting me know that my starting running back was cut down.
yeah,
But
he's out.
that's fantasy football. That's a whole other thing. I really hope he gets a speedy recovery and he gets back because he has a bright future ahead of him.
Yeah, that's a blow to the fantasy. Hopefully, I can get a win this week. I'm 1-3 on that fantasy league. Also, Marcus out with a hamstring injury, and he will undergo an MRI. So hopefully, the results of that comes out. Hopefully, he doesn't major with him. They're not saying it's anything too major, but he's gonna undergo. I'm pretty sure by now he's underwent it. We just haven't heard any news about it. Giants defensive end Olivier Vernon, he re-aggravated an ankle injury that he had, and he not looking good for him. They're saying as of right now he's out for the season. He's out. Um, the Giants just can't catch a break, man. The Giants are playing good games, man. It's they played a couple good games. Let me go back and rephrase that. The Buccaneers game was good. Me and my dad kind of watched that one, and that was actually a pretty good game. It was very back and forth. I just think sometimes, Eli he plays very scared sometimes, and it reads on his face that he's nervous and he's scared, and we kind of noticed that when we watched the game of it. Maybe that's just how his face looks, but he's like really, like he plays like he doesn't know what he's doing. Like he plays like his emotions read across his face like he's a rookie. But
Right.
let's see. Before that game, before Olivia Vernon went into that game, he would be playing, but he just wouldn't be at 100%. And the last thing they needed, was for him to be out. I think he should have took a couple more games and just kind of chilled out and relaxed a little bit. And he tried to, of course, they all want to get in there. They want to get paid. They want to put on a show. They want to win. And now he's not looking very good. So go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, injuries is it's really affecting a lot of people
Yeah,
this
yeah,
season. It just seems like an abnormal amount. These
yeah.
these brittle ball players. I don't know what's going on with them. Something they're doing, making them
You think they
soft.
pushing themselves too hard, man?
I don't know. I really do not know. But anyways, we're switching topics here. We're going to segue right into um, we're going to go right into my power rankings for week 5. Now, I 2 weeks ago I posted a show, or I started this segment, the top 10 power rankings for the upcoming week, and I got my top 10 for the upcoming week, and my number 1, which hasn't changed, is still the Kansas City Chiefs, sitting at 4-0. They did not move. They were my number 1 2 weeks ago, and they're my number 1 right now. Only allowing the league best 51% completion rating. That's the league best, which is an incredible feat. They're still 4-0. I think they're the only remaining undefeated team. And then I have, for my number 2, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're sitting at 3-1. They from 2 weeks ago, they've moved up 3 slots. Le'Veon Bell finally showed us what he's capable of, and he showed us what he showed us the past few years. But the Steelers quietly allowing the second fewest points per game, 14.8. Now first in the AFC North at 3-1. And then number 3, I have the Denver Broncos sitting pretty at 3-1. They moved up 5 slots from my power rankings 2 weeks ago. The Broncos defense only allow 2.4 yards per rush attempt, and only allowing 50.8 yards rushing per game through the first quarter of the season.
That's
to the likes of Ezekiel Elliott, LaShawn McCoy, Melvin Gordon, and Marshawn Lynch. Keep that in mind. Those are the starting running backs that went against this Denver defense. I believe to be the best defense in the league right now. And then my number 4.
The best?
Oh, yeah.
The best?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Oh, yeah. And then my number 4, I have the Detroit Lions sitting at 3-1. They moved up 5 slots from my power rankings 2 weeks ago. Tied for the most takeaways, which is 11 in the league, which have led them to 47 total points off of 11 turnovers. That is incredible. And then number 5, I have the Green Bay Packers. Sitting at 3-1. Sitting at 3-1, they move up 2 slots from my power rankings 2 weeks ago. The Green Bay Packers over the past few years have been full of injuries, and this year is not any different. Injuries have always been an issue in Green Bay, but they still hold on for a win in week 4, and they are sitting at 3-1. And then number 6, I have the Seattle Seahawks sitting at 2-2. They were not ranked on my top 10 2 weeks ago, but you cannot ever doubt the 12th man in Seattle. I believe Seattle is starting a run from this last win. They are actually 45-7 when they hold their opponent to fewer than 20 points. Think about that. Playing against Seattle, if you don't score more than 20 points, there's an 86% chance that you will lose.
Okay.
And then number 7, I got the Philadelphia Eagles sitting at 3-1. They were not ranked in my top 10 2 weeks ago, having allowed the fewest points in the first 3 quarters in the league, but allowing the most points in the 4th quarter in the league. Think about that. So I got them sitting at 7th.
They got to work on that.
Yeah, and then they start out real hot. They hold out the game, and then they just tire out in the 4th quarter. And then number 8, I got the first negative on the list is the first drop, actually, from my power rankings 2 weeks ago. We have the New England Patriots sitting at 2-2. They've dropped 2 slots from my power rankings 2 weeks ago. The worst defense, in my opinion, in the league, but they still have Tom Brady. So I give them the rank 8. And it's funny because the defense, they've allowed more points. They've allowed more attempts. they've allowed more yards than Tom Brady could ever. That Tom Brady has made up himself this year so far.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, basically, if you turn whatever team you're against into a better offense than your offense, that's why you're sitting at 2-2. Come on, New England, you got to shape up. Basically, what New England is doing is they're making whatever team they play against into Tom Brady. That's what I'm saying.
Pretty
If you
much.
you play New England, you're gonna put up points. You're gonna put up yards. Because I'm last time I checked, I think New England's defense has the highest points per game, which is like 30, 32 or something crazy like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 9, I have the Oakland Raiders. They're sitting at 2-2. They've dropped 6 slots for my power rankings 2 weeks ago. The offense is slipping a tiny bit, and Derek Carr being injured in this past week on Sunday is not going to help. But the defense is still pretty solid. Khalil Mack is still holding it together.
Yeah, I was about to mention
The team has only allowed 3 touchdowns in a total of 12 red zone attempts. So the defense is still pretty solid over there in Oakland. And then number 10, I made a mistake 2 weeks ago, and I made a mistake in week 1, falling into the hype, and I'm correcting myself. But I believe the Atlanta Falcons are overrated. Matt Ryan is
Ooh,
overrated. He is
we
not
just
an
lost
elite
some viewers on
quarterback.
that.
He is
We're
not
gonna
an
lose
elite
viewers.
quarterback. All right? That's what I think. They are sitting at 3-1. Could very easily be 1-3. Yeah, 1-3. I have them dropping 8 slots. They're sitting. You're lucky I have them in my top 10 because they weren't gonna be in my top 10. The Falcons faced Aaron Rodgers. Think about this. They faced Aaron Rodgers and put him into trouble. But then they face Mike Glennon, Matthew Stafford, and Tyron Taylor and couldn't do anything to him. Think about that for a second. Like I said, I made a mistake in putting them in my top 5, and I was really debating on whether or not to put them in my top 10 this week. So if you're an Atlanta Falcons fan, I got a box of tissues for you. And that is my power rankings going into week 5. What you think, bro?
I mean, that's a solid power ranking. You know what I'm saying? I'd have left your number 10 off. I'd have left them off, and of course, I would have replaced your number 1. But what I got, I mean, that's a pretty solid power ranking.
Who would you have replaced number 1 with? Certainly not the Green Bay Packers.
I mean, of course, man. I mean, by default, of course. I mean, I've been a cheesehead since I was a kid. I mean, come on now, of course.
You're too much of a fan to make a top 10.
Not orange. I mean, yellow and green.
You're
Yellow
too
at the
much of
top
a
of my body, green
fan.
at the bottom.
You're too much of a fan to make a top 10. I ain't afraid.
I think my top 10
feelings hurt.
My top 10 would be a little biased.
All them Matt Ryan's fans over there, he's overrated. And you know what? Speaking on Matt Ryan again, I think everybody is so blinded by his performance last year that they're not actually looking at his overall scores. Because take away last year, his average quarterback rating is sitting at like 89.7. Think about that. That ain't super. Garbage. That ain't elite. Well, he's not garbage, but he's certainly not elite. I mean, last year was superb. Yes, he did great. But he's been in the league almost a decade. Think about that. 10 years and you have one good season, you are not an elite quarterback.
No.
Eli Manning is more elite than Matt Ryan.
And that's sad if you have to compare it to Eli Manning, because Eli Manning he's questionable.
Think about it this way. Eli Manning faced Tom Brady, and at least he didn't choke.
No, he didn't choke, but I think Eli.
I can't really say that because honestly, I can't say that Matt Ryan choked because that was a little bit of bad play calling by the coaches. I mean, we're not going to get into that Super Bowl. We could talk about that all night. What's the next topic we got going for us?
Well, this guy did a power ranking, and I did a top 5 quarterbacks for week 5.
Oh, here we go.
And how I came up with this top 5 was just watching their performances and watching some of their highlights, from the previous weeks. I'm not taking anything from the preseason. I'm not taking anything from last season. I'm talking straight up, the regular season and what I've seen Coming at number 5. I'm gonna go backwards.
Okay.
Coming at coming at number 5 out of the AFC, Baltimore Ravens quarterback Ryan Mallett. I'm gonna have to go with Ryan Mallett. They're 2-2. He's I almost didn't put him on there, you know what I'm saying, but I had to put him on there because he's been doing all right. He's been getting there. Number 4 will be Big Ben Roethlisberger for the Steelers out of the AFC. Also, they are 3-1. My number 3, we're going to switch over to the NFC, and I'm going to go with number 3 is
probably Aaron Rodgers.
No, it's Carson Wentz out of the Eagles. They're 3-1.
He should be higher than that. He should be way higher than that.
Well, what you dude? You gotta
man.
hear.
He put on a clinic, bruh. He put on a
you
clinic, bruh. He's like a wizard behind the center, bro.
He is. But once you hear my number 1 and number 2, then you'll be like, oh, okay, well, he is good at number 3. So going back to the AFC, it's gonna be Tom Brady from the Patriots. Their record's 2-2.
Yeah.
Let's see.
He was inevitably gonna be in the top 5.
Yeah, of course, Tom Brady. I mean, absolutely. And number 1, numero uno. What's up, Brian? We got some people in the live chat going. Let's get it going. And number 1, drum roll. Packers running in at 3-1 out of the NFC, baby. I mean, and the reason he got number 1 was because of that win in overtime. I don't care what you say. That overtime win, it's a little early in the season to be putting on shows like that.
He's playing average, bro.
Man, come on now. It's a little too early.
He is playing too average to be number 1 in your top 5, bro. You are too much of a fan.
This early in the season,
this is This is supposed to be sports scrutiny, not I'm gonna just say my favorite everything.
Come on, man. Come on. But this early in this, it's week 4. We're going into week 5. It's week 4, and this dude pulling off overtime wins. I mean, this dude. Let me go back. Let me go back to my notes, man.
Yeah, but in those overtime wins, who got the ball first? Green Bay Packers, bro. Come on, man.
Come on, man. The W is
a big difference. Man. It's a big difference whenever you go into overtime and you automatically get the ball first. You just a fan, man. You're just a fan. I mean, I could have been blowing up the Oakland Raiders because you know what? I don't know if I've made this clear yet, but the Oakland Raiders are my team this year. Now I don't think I've said this yet. Hold on. Yeah, hold on. Listen. I'm not a football fan. I am a fantasy guy. I don't pick favorites. I pick a team and a few players that I want to succeed each year, and it changes. Last year I picked the Green Bay Packers because I felt that they were the team that was going to go the farthest. And yeah, they did go, and they lost to Atlanta in Atlanta. They got wrecked in Atlanta. And this year, I picked the Oakland Raiders. I thought they were the hottest team. Khalil Mack is still carrying that defense. That defense is going hot. Derek Carr came back from that injury. He was playing hot right before he got injured last year. They picked up Marshawn Lynch. They got Amari Cooper. They got Michael Crabtree. So I picked the Oakland Raiders to take it home this year. And now we got Derek Carr being hurt. So we got to see.
I understand what you're saying. I mean, I really do understand what you're saying. You coming at it from a very analytical point of view. You know what I'm saying?
I like baseball, bro.
If you go back, oh, he got his hat on. Okay, I have to get me a headpiece. But if you go back to week 2, to week 1, but our first episode was an intro episode. I told y'all I'm gonna try my hardest not to be biased. I'm really gonna try my hardest not to be, but he's here, man. All right, let me hold on. Okay,
he is not deserving of the number 1 quarterback, bro. But I respect your top 5.
At least I put Tom Brady.
Yeah,
Everything is number two.
everybody's gonna put Tom Brady, but you know what? I'm gonna tell you right now, Tom Brady's performing better than Aaron Rodgers
Ooh,
in the first
we'll see
quarter
who
of this season, bro.
we'll see. Okay, okay.
What's
He
everybody saying?
might be
I want to hear what people are saying. Read the comments to me. What's going on, fam?
okay. So we got too early. Brian Cayetano. What's up, Brian? Brian says it's too early to pick top five, maybe prospects for the year.
Oh no! It's
Never
it's the
too
first
early.
quarter, man. It's the
No,
first quarter.
it's never too early to put
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers as the
it's the
number one
first.
quarterback.
Man, you just need to drop that. We're gonna
I'll
ignore
wait.
your top five just for this week. We're gonna pretend like it didn't even happen. But no, man, it's not too early. It's the first quarter of the season. Come on, we're 4 weeks down. It's time to come out with the top, man.
It's time to come out with the top, man. There's my top. There is my top. You see
No,
it? I wrote this stuff down, man.
I don't see anything. I don't see it. I don't see it. It's invisible to me. I don't even remember what you said. I'm gonna cut it out of the show and we're done. Everybody listening, just ignore everything BJ just said. After he said number two,
Oh
just
man.
ignore it. He didn't even say number one.
Okay.
Aaron
I see
Rodgers.
that. Come on, man. You got to give it to Aaron. I mean, he was
No,
mentored by the
he's
best, man.
okay. Okay, I'm gonna tell you, he deserves to be in the top five, but not the top three.
What?
I'll tell you what,
See,
the quarterback, listen, the quarterback, what's his name? Jared Goff. He's playing better than Aaron Rodgers.
Just dogging my boy.
Wentz, bro, at the Eagles is playing better than Aaron
Carson
Rodgers.
Wentz?
Hell yeah.
Okay. Hey, that's one thing we do at Sports Scrutiny Live. We respect each other's opinion. Then I respect that Rob believes that.
Unless you say some nonsense about putting Aaron Rodgers number one, then we don't respect it and we just delete it from the show.
All right, the Yankees. All right, Rob, we're gonna transfer over to your topic because that's where the live chat's headed, man.
Yeah, the Yankees are actually playing right now.
It says the Yankees.
Excuse me, they're playing
hard time.
No, the Yankees are having a hard time. They're leading right now, 5-4. What you talking about? One score or five scores, it's still winning. Now they to be honest, they who's pitching tonight? Luis Severino.
Hold on, Rob. Our live chat. We got a top five in the live chat.
Oh no.
We got a top five in the live chat. Okay.
Who is it?
Top
Who
five.
Is it?
We got number one, Matt Ryan.
I don't even want to hear the rest. I don't want to hear the rest. I don't want to hear the rest.
We got Matt Ryan number one.
I don't want to hear the rest.
We got Russell number two. We got Russell. Russell. Okay, hold on. We got Aaron Rodgers coming in at number three.
See, that's a good. I'd put him number four. Yeah, okay, I can agree with that a little bit.
And then number four. And Brian's got Smith from the Chiefs on number five.
Wait, who did he say for number four?
Watson.
Wentz.
Watson.
Ooh.
That's what I said, bro. Come on, man. You gotta come. Brian, if you gotta go come correct in the live chat, then get out of the live chat, man.
Well. Definitely not Matt Ryan at number one. But Watson, how he performed, I might put him at five. Maybe.
The only ones that I agree with from that. Go ahead, Rob. My bad.
Alex Smith, I can see him. I can see some people putting him in the top five because they are 4-0, and he's playing damn near flawless. But who did he say?
Okay. Go ahead.
Who was number two?
Russell.
Oh yeah, that's outrageous. I don't know. That's.
I mean, I would put Russell in the top 10. I wouldn't put
Oh
Russell in the
yeah,
top 5.
Matt Ryan would be in my
I'll
top
put him in
10.
the top 10. Matt Ryan would be in my top 10 too, but
Yeah.
you know, there's only one from that list. Anyway, go ahead,
Hey, who
Brian.
was
Go
that?
on
Who
to
was that? Who was that? Who
from
posted that?
Brian.
Oh, thanks, Brian. I appreciate your feedback, but please stop doing drugs in our live chat.
Yeah. Come on, man. But go ahead, go on to the MLB,
Oh
man. They
yeah, we're
talking
talking
about
the
the
MLB.
MLB down there.
This we got actually the Yankees are playing the Twins right now in the AL wild card. I believe they're leading right now. I think in the bottom of the 6th. They're leading 5-4. And then tomorrow night will be the Rockies versus the Diamondbacks. That should be very interesting. I predict the Diamondbacks will come out 6-4. And then we have the AL wild card winner will be playing the Indians. If for some silly reason the Twins end up winning, the Indians will cream the Twins very easily. But you know, if them Yankees beat the Twins, then the Yankees will be beating the Indians in 4 games. Yeah, I said it. And then in the NL wild card winner, which I believe to be the Diamondbacks, will be playing the Dodgers. I don't think the Dodgers will make it out of the first round, even though they're predicted to be the best team in the MLB right now. I don't think they'll make it
No
out of the
credit.
first round.
No credit.
I don't think they'll make it out of the first round. They're a big bunch of chokes over there. They dodge wins. You get what I did there? The Dodgers dodging wins. That's what they do, bro.
Yeah.
And then we got the ALDS. We got the Red Sox versus the Astros. That'll be fun. The Red Sox actually played the Astros 5 days ago, and they beat them. And then we have the NLDS. We have the Nationals versus the Cubs, in which case I think the Nationals will sweep the 2016 World Series Championship Cubs. Nationals are just too much right now. They're too heavy. But it doesn't look like the Yankees Twins game is going to end anytime soon. So we will not have that final score by the time the show is over. But yeah, that's everybody hope for the Yankees victory. That's all I got for the MLB.
Okay.
The season has come to an end, so there's not really a lot to talk about. Playoffs are over. Yankees, Twins, Rockies, Diamondbacks, Indians, Dodgers, Astros, Cubs, Red Sox, Nationals. Let's do it. What you got, bro? Oh
That's
yeah,
it.
actually, we're
Go ahead, man.
gonna segue into the NBA next. I know you got some hot topic or hot info on the NBA. You were telling me about that
I don't
earlier.
have much on the. I don't have much on the NBA yet. It's kind of hard to keep up with the season that hadn't started yet. You know, but there's a lot circling. There's a lot circling the NBA right now. And there's a lot of people saying stuff. You know, we talked about the trades and stuff the other week, and that stuff is, you know, it's kind of the tail end of all that that's going on. But Derrick Rose, read this yesterday and was debating on whether or not to put this, but I think he's feeling some type of way. Well, he was feeling some type of way, but this is what he says. He said he is now happy. I don't know if it has anything to do with D Wade. I don't know what's going on with that, but he says that he's now happy with the Cavs lineup and is no longer playing revenge basketball. So this is the actual quote from what he said, y'all. He said, "I was in a dark place for years ago. By a dark place, I mean I was playing revenge basketball." Then he goes on to say, "I was trying to get back to the top and prove everybody wrong. There's no point in doing that anymore. Before I made it into the league, I was a facilitator, and the NBA turned me into a scorer." What do you think he means by that? I didn't quite. I didn't quite understand what he
I
meant by
don't. I'm not thinking. I'm thinking maybe he worded it wrong. I'm thinking he was probably thinking something else, but he said something. He said something else. You know what I
that.
mean? I'm
He
thinking
didn't say what he
maybe
was
the
thinking.
coaching staff over there in Chicago didn't utilize him the way that they didn't utilize him to his fullest.
Wanted to be utilized. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I
So
just don't.
maybe
But the
that's what he
term
meant.
revenge basketball,
Oh,
it's
hold up,
basketball. I mean, what do you think that means?
hold up. Update. We have an update. The Yankees, Aaron Judge, the judge, the home run king. Um, he just homered, and Gardner scored. So now the Yankees lead the Twins 7-4 in the bottom of the fourth, not the bottom of the sixth. So I had to correct myself. So Aaron
Yeah,
Judge just
we got
keeps
that.
hitting
We got that in
hitting
the live
bombs.
chat.
Oh, you did?
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, Brian actually updated us with that in the chat. Thank you, Brian. We
Thanks, Brian.
appreciate that, man. Thanks
Yeah,
for the
thanks, Brian. Yeah, thanks, Brian.
appreciate that. But yeah, that's what he's saying. And then also the coach and staff went on to say, even though they have Dwayne Wade, Kyrie Irving is the coaches kind of in a way responded to what he was saying, because he was like that. I guess people didn't really know he felt the way he felt, and he's just coming out and saying it now. But even though the coaches are saying, even though they have Dwayne Wade now, but Kyrie Irving is gone. Like, they're hoping that. Okay, let me finish what they said. They said even though Dwayne Wade is gone, and Isaiah Thomas is still out and is going to be out the first few games of the season, they need Derrick Rose to rise up and help carry the team. You know what I'm saying? Because he's now. He's got LeBron James, and he'll have. Hopefully, we hoping he'll have Isaiah Thomas back sooner than later. So I mean, it's the pressure is in a way. I mean, even though he's got Wade and LeBron, the pressure in a way is they're putting it kind of on Derrick Rose, and I think Derrick Rose is the type of player that could handle and carry that pressure. Because
Oh, yeah,
he's an
definitely.
impressive basketball player. He can definitely do it.
What year did he win the MVP?
Say that
Oh
one more
09?
time.
What year did he win the MVP? Was it 09?
He won it in 09, yes.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Oh yeah, on
But
that.
I
On
think the
that
Cavs
on
are.
that topic,
Go ahead.
actually I wrote down my 5 favorite teams. You got to look. These are the teams that I think you need to watch out for in the upcoming NBA season. I got their current starting 5. We're gonna start with the Rockets, Houston Rockets. At their point guard, they got Chris Paul. Their starting point guard is Chris Paul. Their starting shooting guard is James Harden. And then their forward, they got a Trevor Ariza.
Trevor Ariza.
Yeah. And their power forward, they got
Trevor
Ryan
Ariza. Oh,
Anderson. Power forward, they got Ryan Anderson. And then their center is Clint Capella. Yeah, Capella. And for the Celtics, the starting point guard, we have Kyrie Irving. Shooting guard, Jalen.
that just doesn't sound right, bro. That just does not sound right. It just, oh man, you had to say that. It just doesn't sound right. That Kyrie Irving is not on the Cavs. How can he's not playing for the Cavs? Go ahead, man. I'm sorry. I just had to get that out, bro.
Hey, man, I agree with you, man. When I was writing it down, I was almost like, oh, I misspelled the point guard's name wrong.
Yeah, man. Like what?
And the Celtics shooting guard, we got Jaylen Brown. Forward, we got Gordon Hayward. Power forward, we got Marcus Morris. And then their center is Al Harford. Oh, and the next two, man, these are some ultra teams we got here. We got the Cavaliers starting point guard. Derrick Rose, shooting guard, Dwayne Wade, forward, LeBron James, power forward, Jay Crowder, center, Kevin Love. Oh my.
Dude, that is gonna. Dude, the Cavs are stacked up, bro. The Cavs are stacked up, and it's two teams that scrutiny on them this season.
Oh yeah.
And I think the Cavs are one of them. Well, what do you think OKC is going to do with
Oh, here we go. The
Carmelo
Thunder
in?
starting. The Thunder starting
Oh, go
five.
ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thunder starting five. Point guard. One of my favorite players right now, Russell Westbrook, number 0. They got their shooting guard, Andre Robertson. Got a forward, Paul George. That's going to be fun to watch. Paul George playing with Russell Westbrook. But not only Paul George with Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony at their power forward
True.
to sit there helping out Russell Westbrook. Then their center is Steven Adams. Now that's going to be a fun team to watch. Russell Westbrook, Paul George, Melo Anthony. Looking forward to that. Really looking forward to that.
So what do you think that how do you think that they're going to use Carmelo Anthony?
Well, I think bringing on, with Paul George and Carmelo Anthony, I think they're really going to have to change their game plan because they're not going to be able to play like they played last year. Russell Westbrook will not be able to do the things that he was doing last year if they want to be successful with those guys because Carmelo Anthony, he was solo in New York for a while. And he put the team on his back and he tried his hardest. I mean, not saying that the team was successful, but he's a good ball player.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to really have to change the way that they planned last year if they want to be successful with that lineup. Mm-hmm. But I think that they could do it. That is a hot lineup.
I think they can too, man. I really think they can. I think they can do it too. But it's just that, Carmelo Anthony, he has got to step his game up. He's got to step it up. He can't. He can't do what he was doing on the Knicks. When he played for the Knicks, he can't do. What he was doing.
And talking about the Thunder and people stepping up, they cannot choke a 3-1 lead against this team. Starting point guard for the Golden State Warriors is Steph Curry. Shooting guard, Klay Thompson. Forward, Kevin Durant. Power forward, Draymond Green. And center, I don't know if I pronounce his name correctly, but it's Zaza Pachulia.
He's pretty good, though.
They cannot, if they get the 3-1 lead, they cannot blow it against that squad, which I don't think is going to happen.
They gotta neutralize.
They gotta neutralize. The Warriors will repeat. That is my prediction right now. As powerful, and as much as LeBron James and the Cavs has invested into picking up all these people and stacking up the Cavaliers, I 100% believe the Warriors they have the chemistry built. It was the same thing as when LeBron went down to the Heat. Everybody thought, oh, LeBron and D Wade, they're just gonna blow everybody up. They're gonna blow Chris Bosh. They're gonna blow everybody up, but they didn't. Right. They lost. No, I mean, they did. They were successful, but there were still moments where they were offbeat because the chemistry. Mm-hmm. Now they picked up all these people. Now Kyrie is gone, which I believe was the puzzle, the piece of the puzzle that LeBron James never should have let go. Yeah. Kyrie Irving helped him so much. But not only that, the Cavs still have J.R. Smith as their sixth man. He really shined in the finals last season. So I think him still being on the team, and Kevin Love is still there. They picked up Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder, man, he's a defensive machine. So if Isaiah Thomas comes back in a timely manner, and he performs well, I'm thinking the only reason he would ever replace a Derrick Rose is if Derrick Rose is falling apart. Because if Derrick Rose shines before Isaiah Thomas comes back, I think Isaiah Thomas will still be their second point guard.
Yeah, but I just don't think they should they shouldn't put too much pressure on Derrick Rose because then he'll crack.
No, it's not about pressure. It's about performance. Now it may appear as pressure only because they made such a big trade for Isaiah Thomas. It's almost like like an illusion almost. It's like looking at it from the outside, you think, oh, they got rid of Kyrie Irving for Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas is their big guy. Oh, Isaiah Thomas is hurt. Derrick Rose, you better step up. But no, I don't think it's like that. I think it's more like Derrick Rose has been in that position. I mean, he was at Chicago and he was like their man forever. So he knows what it's like.
The man. Yeah, he was the man.
He knows what it's like. So I'm not sure that
Yeah.
it's more of a pressure thing for him. And for him to come out and say that he's changing, I think that's probably good for him, because if he wants to go back to the way that he was, the way that he performed like in 08 and 09 when he won the MVP, if he gets back to that, people are going to be like, Isaiah Thomas, who?
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Because when Derrick Rose was slacking, that gave people like time to come up. You know what I'm saying? But if Derrick Rose gets back into the Derrick Rose that we know, 08, 09, 2000, that Derrick Rose, yeah, then who was Isaiah who?
Yeah.
But I one thing that I really hope doesn't happen, and I'm excited to see how this goes. Live chat, Ryan Twitty, I hate the Cavs. Yeah, he hate the Cavs. I hope that the egos the way of
see goal. That's what I'm see that's okay. Going back on the lineups, if we want to talk about egos, there's one team you really need to look out for, and that's OKC. If you want to talk about egos, Paul George has an ego. Russell Westbrook obviously will have an ego after last season's performance, and Carmelo Anthony has been the man in New York City for years. So obviously he's going to have to simmer down on that ego for a minute. And then we all know Chris Paul, he can pass the ball around. He's not going to have any type of ego with the Houston Rockets. So I believe that Chris Paul and James Harden are going to fall right into sync with each other. That's going to be a good team, a good chemistry between those two. And the Celtics, Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving, I think that those two are probably it'll probably be a slow start for them, but I think it'll pick up towards the second half of the season. And then as far as the Cavs, there's not going to be any ego there. Jay Crowder, he knows his position. Dwayne Wade and LeBron James are best friends outside of the NBA. Kevin Love, he was there last season. He knows his place. Derrick Rose, I believe he's been in the league long enough to know his mature. He's mature enough to recognize his place on that team.
Yeah,
and obviously Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, those guys, they've been playing together for a few years now. Wow. There is no reason to think that there's going to be any kind of ego there. I mean, they just won the NBA Finals together. I believe the Warriors will repeat, and I'm hoping that it's not going to be against the Cavaliers. That will most certainly be a very boring Finals, which I will not be watching. But if for some reason the Cavs, I still think it's probably going to be Cavs Warriors. But if the Cavs don't make it, I'm hoping that it would be. I'm not really sure. There's so many. I can't even think of who it would be, because the Cavs are just boring. God.
Yeah, he said they were boring. But this is what I think. This is what I hope. Once again, I hope doesn't happen. This is what I hope does happen. I hope that the Cavs can get into like a groove, kind of like the Warriors do, because like everybody knows that Steph Curry, he's a 3-point shooter. He's a shooter, period. But when he goes cold, you got Klay Thompson.
You got Klay Thompson to back him up, and if Klay Thompson isn't on fire, you got Kevin Durant. And if he's not on fire, you got Draymond Green to get you the ball to try to get on fire.
Exactly. That's the point I'm trying to make. So if the Cavs can get into that kind of groove, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, if somebody's doing their thing out there, like, okay, let's say D Wade or Derrick Rose, let's say one of them are just bucket after bucket. You know what I'm saying? Let them stay in their groove. You know what I'm saying? But if let's say D Wade goes cold, hopefully LeBron or Derrick Rose could be right there for him to get in there and make those shots that he's missing, make up for those shots. Because that's when you watch the Warriors play, that's kind of what happens. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like Klay Thompson and Steph Curry feed off of each other's vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like just those two, the other ones too, but those two, it's like they just kind of feed off each other's vibe in a way. And I hope that the Cavaliers with Dwayne Wade, I'm pretty sure Dwayne Wade and LeBron James can do it, but can Dwayne Wade and Derrick Rose mesh like that? Something like that, do you think?
Well, both being as successful as they've been and had been in the NBA as long as they have. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they've both suffered injuries. They're both veterans of the game. I believe that, yeah, their maturity level is, they will be able to find sync with each other. I don't think it'll take too many
Man, bring Kobe back. Bring Kobe back.
bring Kobe back to play with ball. But I don't think it'll take too many practices for Derrick Rose to fall in sync with LeBron and his squad, especially not D
Right.
Wade, because LeBron is already going to carry D Wade under his wing. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh yeah.
those two are everywhere together. They're best friends outside of the NBA, you know. So they already
D
know what
Wade
they're
just
doing.
D Wade gonna ride that coattail. Nah, let me not say that. I gotta forget that we live. But D Wade gonna ride on that LeBron James wagon. Of
Yeah,
course.
he just gonna ride that wave like.
Oh yeah. But this, I mean, I'm excited for the NBA to start. Previously I haven't really been a big fan of NBA, but the last couple of years, you know what I'm saying, I've been getting in the NBA. I've been kind of watching how these guys play. You know what I'm saying, and the formula that these guys, put together to win these games, and that's all it is. It's a formula, man. They just, they play together. You know what I'm saying. They pick their teams apart. And I've been coming around to the NBA. I like the NBA. I like watching it. It's watch I definitely didn't play basketball, but I love watching basketball. And man, we're gonna have to get some WNBA in here, man. These girls are going off lately, man. We got to get these girls. We got to talk about these girls, man.
Oh, I never shy away from talking about girls.
Nah, exactly.
So what's going on in the chat, guys? What you guys talking about?
Last thing that was said in the chat was I hate the Cavs. That was the last thing that was said in the chat.
Okay. I see.
So hopefully when we move on to the UFC and some MMA news, hopefully we can get the live chat buzzing again. But great job on the live chat, guys. We really do appreciate you guys giving us your feedback. You guys have to say, most definitely. And we got some things coming up for you guys, so we're gonna talk about that at the end of the show. I'm gonna cover some UFC news, some current UFC news. So
Some of that
we have a match
MMA
coming up
action. Go ahead.
this weekend. We got a fight card coming up. We talked about this. It was the Ray Borg and Demetrius Johnson fight. It's going to be a good fight, guys. Definitely going to be talking about that. But yeah, Kevin Lee versus Tony Ferguson coming up, and what that is an interim belt title fight. So, and what I mean by interim is he created, I think, the first interim. I can't remember who Mark Hunt fought, but he fought somebody for the interim title. But anyway, the interim title is when the champion is inactive or can't fight or injured or something like that. So they do an interim belt, and they respect the UFC. One thing I've noticed is the UFC respects the interim belt just as much as they respect the normal belt. You know what I'm saying? So it's possible to have two champions in one weight class. And so Kevin Lee is fighting Tony Ferguson, excuse me, for the interim lightweight belt. As we all know, the champion of the lightweight division is Conor McGregor. And we know Conor
Oh
McGregor
yeah.
has not fought. He has not fought in the UFC since last November when he got the belt. So they're good. But the thing with Kevin Lee is talking a whole lot of smack right now. And what Kevin Lee is saying is he's assuming the win over Tony Ferguson, and he's saying that when he beats Tony Ferguson at UFC 216, that he will grant Conor McGregor a fight. But he's also saying that Conor McGregor should fight Nate Diaz to prove that he's good enough to fight him. And that's what kind of rubbed me the wrong way when I read that, because has a tendency to write off people as not good fighters. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy's talking about Nate Diaz like Nate Diaz is a walk in the park.
Yeah, he's not.
He's the only person to beat Conor McGregor. What is Tony Ferguson talking about? Now, I don't
Yep.
understand when they say, when they say these things like, let's see, what did he say? I don't care about the interim title word. I want to grant Conor McGregor a fight. Makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, you're like what, the number 6 ranked fight? Yeah, you're coming off a 9-fight winning. Wait a minute, is it him coming off a 9? No, Tony Ferguson's coming off a 9-fight streak. It's talking like he's super, like he's talking like he's super good. I mean, he is good. I mean, he is a good fighter.
He talking above his level is what he's doing.
Yeah, he's talking above his level, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Nate Diaz has never been a walk in the park for anybody. So where does he get that saying that Conor McGregor should fight Nate Diaz again? You know what I'm saying? To prove that he's good enough to fight him. No, you should fight Nate Diaz to prove that you're good enough to fight Conor McGregor, or you should fight Conor McGregor to prove that you're good enough to fight Nate Diaz. Come on, man. I mean, let's be honest. Let's be real. But I don't think that I think they should go ahead and do the interim belt, because Conor McGregor is inactive at the moment, so he is not fighting right now. I mean, he's fighting, but he's just come off the Floyd Mayweather fight, and he's already talking about rematching Floyd Mayweather, which he needs. If you ask me, he needs to defend his belt in the UFC. He needs to defend the lightweight.
He does not need to get in that boxing ring again.
No, he don't need to be in. He did the boxing thing. He got his ass beat. Please don't try to box no more, Conor McGregor. You need to go back to UFC. You need to go back to
your
MMA.
100 million and go home.
And go home with it. Yeah. You need to go back. You need to get back in the octagon, not the ring, the octagon. You need to get back in there, and you need to defend that belt.
Defend those belts,
I think he's
bro.
running. He is running from Khabib.
He's still a double champion, right? He's still double champion.
No, he's not. No, he relinquished. No, Max Holloway is the featherweight champion. He relinquished that belt. Yeah, he had to choose which belt he was going to take. So of course he took that belt because of the whole Nate Diaz thing. You know what I'm saying? But if Nate Diaz beats Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz is the champion because Conor McGregor is fighting in the lightweight division now. So if he does a third fight with Nate Diaz and loses, Nate Diaz is the new champion. So what the hell is Kevin Lee talking about when he says that he should fight Nate Diaz and prove that he's ready to fight him? Because you wouldn't be fighting Nate Diaz.
Man, he should be fighting Nate Diaz.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're the interim champion's next fight is always the champion. Okay, so if you fight Tony Ferguson and McGregor fights Diaz and McGregor loses, you're fighting Nate Diaz, my friend. Let's get it correct. But anyways, McGregor is running from Khabib Nurmagomedov, and the reason I say that is because Khabib was hot. They were supposed to fight earlier this year, but Khabib had problems cutting weight. And, people don't realize how dangerous it is when these fighters cut weight. And he got sick, which he's gotten sick before, but he was able to bounce back from it. This guy's 24-0, and I know I got some MMA fans watching, but seeing the videos of when Khabib was a kid, his dad had him wrestling bear cubs.
Wrestling where?
Like he was wrestling baby bears. Like, I don't know what these Russians are doing, man, but this guy was, there's video footage of Khabib Nurmagomedov, a bear cub, over and over and over and over and over. 6-year-old kid. You know what I'm saying? So this guy's 24-0 in the UFC. I mean, in his professional MMA career, this guy is a beast. But he's having some health issues right now. I think he's about close to ready to fight. I think he's about close to ready to get back in the octagon. But is running from him. And I think McGregor should, I mean, if McGregor doesn't fight, I mean, he has to
He
get a
should be
fight with
fighting
somebody.
soon, man.
Yeah, he needs to get a fight soon. You know, and what I was thinking was he could fight 18-11 Michael Johnson, person that could step up. And I mean, they give those they give those lower seeds some fights. I mean, championship, those guys in the top 10 those opportunities to step up and fight for the championship belt.
What if he fights
Also,
Michael Johnson and loses?
I mean, if he fights Michael Johnson and loses, then maybe we'll shh the Conor McGregor a little bit. You know, you won't hear so much about him because he lost to Michael Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Michael Johnson's not a bad fighter, but Michael Johnson is, he was saying, old dude wasn't an elite quarterback. I don't think Michael Johnson is quite on that level.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's
not a top 10 pound for pound.
No, he's definitely not a top 10 pound for pound. But skill set to beat Conor McGregor, but somebody like him, it would be he'd have to turn it into like a dog fight, because Conor McGregor does not do well in dog fights. You know what I'm saying? Like Nate Diaz made that like the fights that Nate Diaz had with Conor McGregor, those were nasty dog fights. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where you have to drag Conor McGregor in order to get a win from him, because these 13-second knockouts and whatnot, I mean, that's his thing. That's Conor McGregor's thing, is knockouts. You know, and Eddie Alvarez tried his hardest, and I give Eddie Alvarez props. You know, he tried his hardest to make it a dog fight. I think that all the trash talking and all that.
He played too much into Conor's play style.
Yeah, he did, most definitely. And I think, go ahead.
I think what happened was, a lot like the other fighters that play, like Nate Diaz didn't fall into it. He didn't have time to fall into it because the fight was so sudden. But a lot of the other people that fought Conor fell into the talk. They fell into the mind games, and they lost focus when they got into the ring. Now, while they were training, they probably knew they had a good game plan versus a Conor fighter. But I feel like just the talking and everything that Conor says, everything he does, the way he moves, the way he holds himself up, I think it just got to him. Eddie played right into exactly how Conor fight. I don't even think Eddie hit him one time. Like
Eddie, he landed a couple. He landed a couple combinations, but
he just played into Conor like just so bad.
Yeah, he did.
It's usually, I mean, that's just what happens. I wish Conor would have had a rematch against Jose Aldo. I want to see that rematch.
Yeah, it'd have been. See that, dude. I would love to see that. I would love to see Conor McGregor rematch Jose Aldo. I would pay for it. I would love to see that. But Anthony Pettis, Anthony Pettis is taking some L's in the UFC, but his brother Sergio, you know what I'm saying? Those guys are, you know what I'm saying, like, they're kind of reminding me of a Nate Diaz.
So they're just some tough guys.
Tough guys. Oh yeah, Anthony Pettis is tough. They're definitely tough guys. But moving on from Conor McGregor. I mean, we spent a lot of time talking about Conor McGregor. But Anthony Johnson to the UFC and fight Now, a little about Anthony Johnson. Love Anthony Johnson. He's a knockout artist. Love Anthony Johnson. But he just took them 2 L's against Daniel Cormier. Slide. He took them 2 L's from DC. But after that last L he took from DC, who said, "Oh, I'm going to retire from the UFC. I'm going to retire from fighting. I'm going to go here. You know, I'm going to pursue other career choices, this and that." And everyone thought it was L. You know, and I was like, man, that would be dope if Anthony Johnson retires from the UFC and goes to the NFL. That would be pretty dope.
Be a good career.
Exactly. Be making more money, but that's not what he was doing. He retired from the UFC to go into the marijuana business. Like, he
Bad career
retired from
change
the
either.
UFC. That's not a bad career change, but he went from he went and made this huge announcement after this championship fight that he had with DC that he was leaving the UFC. That he at the post fight press conference, he would not tell anybody what he was doing. It took weeks for people to find out what it was that he was talking about he was going to be doing, and it was the weed business. Okay, he wants to come back and fight a heavyweight. Even though, okay, fighting DC is pretty much like fighting a heavyweight, because DC fought heavyweight, and DC is the size of a heavy. Like, when he cuts weight, yeah, he has to make the weight. But when he walks into the ring, DC's probably weighs.
You know what I'm thinking, bro?
230. Go ahead.
I'm thinking that that career change going into the
Didn't
marijuana
work out
business.
so well.
No, that's not what I'm getting. I'm trying to think, and he wants to come back into heavyweight because he's been hitting them munchies too much.
he can't cut weight for light heavyweight anymore. Probably true, man. I mean, that's probably true. You know, but he had retired, as far as we know.
He done had too many
retired.
cookies, bro.
Well, I'm telling you, he go up to heavyweight, and he get in the cage with them boys.
He gonna wish he was. He gonna wish he was back in light heavyweight.
He gonna they're fighting DC. I'm telling you, because those guys. I mean, the heavyweight division is the most dangerous division in the UFC, because those guys have the most knockouts. You know what I'm saying? Like, those guys hit hard. You know what I'm saying? So you got Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis is a beast. You got the champion, Stipe Miocic. I mean, Stipe is a beast. I mean, Anthony Johnson, I think Anthony Johnson may have fought at heavyweight before, but maybe I may be wrong on that. He's gonna have to, if he fights heavyweight, he better be prepared to take some L's, because he's gonna take some L's.
Well, we'll have to see what happens with him.
See. But God, we got some good upcoming stuff with the UFC. We got Holly Holm versus Chris Cyborg, the featherweight tie. Holly Holm gets another title shot.
Ooh, that's surprising.
It's great. It's really not surprising. I'm going to get into this, but Holly Holm has won. She has won one of her last 4 fights. She's been jumping back and forth between bantamweight. She lost twice at featherweight. I mean, she lost twice at bantamweight. At featherweight, at bantamweight. But anyways, she gets the title shot against Chris Cyborg. But even though I say shot, Holly Holm is known unstoppable. Right or wrong, Rob?
She is known for beating the people that everybody thinks can't be beat. Yes, that is
Can't
a
be
fact.
exactly. So if Holly can, I mean, Holly has the skill set to beat Chris Cyborg. Her kickboxing is top level, but her kickboxing has also been her weakness. In her boxing, her kickboxing has been a weakness for her mixed martial arts because of the ground aspect of it. She's not very good on the ground. She's very out of her element on the ground. Um, she can keep the fight standing with Chris Cyborg and wear Cyborg out and land some of that. Holly has a deadly straight left hook. I mean, a straight left hand. She has a deadly straight left hand. That's what took Ronda Rousey out. She landed that
And a
straight left
crazy
on me.
kick.
Crazy head kick too. So if Holly can keep the distance, use her kicks, and wear out Chris Cyborg and pick Cyborg apart and avoid the big shots with Cyborg, I really I'm gonna my prediction on that fight, I'm gonna go for Holly. You know, because even though Holly doesn't deserve a lot, that she gets a lot. She does. I still like Holly because Holly's, even though she gets all these opportunities, she's very humble, and so I really like Holly just because of that. So I'm definitely going to root for Holly. It's nothing against Cyborg. I like Cyborg, but Cyborg is
I
always fighting some of my favorite people. Like she beat up Gina Carano, she beat up Marlos Kunin, she beat up Lena Landsberg, she knocked out, she TKO'd Tanya Evinger. I mean, fighting my favorite people. Stop fighting my
also,
favorite people, Cyborg, and I'll like you more. Jeez.
I think Cyborg will
Messy.
take it.
Cyborg will take. I mean, and that's a. I'm pretty. The question is, who's going to be the favorite in this fight? I want to know is like
You know,
who the
actually,
Vegas
speaking
odds.
of
Who's going to be the favorite?
Tanya, why don't you let the Scrutiny Nation know what's going on with
Hey
that?
guys. So, Scrooters, we are booked next Tuesday at 9:30. Just got out of the ring with Cyborg. Um, this is the deal with Tanya Evinger, okay?
Write it down.
Tanya Evinger's been she's been fighting, and Tanya Evinger is she UFC because Tanya Evinger doesn't do when people sign to the UFC, they want people to do what they tell them to do. And Tanya Evinger is very I do what I own. You know what I'm saying? Like I do what I do. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of where the misfire happened with Tanya Evinger being in the UFC. She's very, very worthy fighter. You know, Tanya Evinger is one of she reminds me a lot of in a way Marlos Kunin in a way also as well is she's a ground fighter who doesn't mind standing up and banging and trading with whoever she's fighting with.
She
She'll
just
make the
wants to
fight
fight.
ugly. Tanya Evinger just wants to fight. That's it. You know, and a fight as dirty as possible to get it to where she wants it to be. That's what I like about Tanya Evinger, and that's what I respect about Tanya
No
Evinger.
matter what,
She
she
gets
wants it to go her way. She
exactly,
wants to
you
control the
know,
fight.
the
I mean, who
pace.
doesn't want to
She
control the
wants
fight? But she does it.
right.
She got a presence about her.
You know, and everybody that knows who Tanya Evinger is, she gets in the ring. When she kissed in Invicta, there's a I forget her name, the announcer for Invicta, the Joe Rogan of Invicta, who comes in the ring after the fight's over with. Tanya Evinger just laid one on her lips, dude. It was the most awesome thing in the world. I freaking love Tanya Evinger, but she stepped in that. Not find this is a little backstory on Tanya Evinger. They could not find a fighter to fight Chris Cyborg in this last fight. Everybody ran from Chris Cyborg. The featherweight champion Jermaine Durandame ran from Chris Cyborg. I don't care what you say. Jermaine ran from Chris Cyborg. She ran, you know,
It's
and she
facts.
claims, she had the hand injury, and oh, I don't. As soon as she beat Holly,
AKA she broke a
she,
nail.
dude, I'm telling you, it was like the minute the microphone was in Jermaine Durandemay's face, because she knew she had to fight Chris Cyborg next. She knew it, and she immediately said, "Oh, I gotta go get my hand taken care of." That was the first thing out of her mouth. So she definitely ducked Chris Cyborg. And then you had the current, at that time, Invicta FC featherweight champion Megan Anderson. They did some really slick shit. Really slick. Excuse me, y'all. Really slick stuff on his show, and he had Megan Anderson live talking to her about what she's doing, what she's going to be doing, and she had any talks about the UFC. And then he chimes in, Chris Cyborg. Just want to let y'all know, Sports Scrutiny Live will never do anything like that. That was very, very dirty of Ariel Helwani. But Cyborg while Megan Anderson was live with him. So that was so that kind of put Megan in a very bad spot. Like she was kind of put on the spot. And
Trapped. She was trapped, bro.
Yeah, so
And
she
sports
didn't have no choice.
Scrutiny Live is never gonna do that to any athlete or any entertainer ever.
No, we would never do anything like that. I mean, that was very dirty on his part. But put her on the spot, she accepted the fight, and then she pulled out of the fight later on, which to me, I was definitely rooting for Megan Anderson because I had just seen what Megan Anderson did to Charmaine Tweet, and Charmaine Tweet is a veteran for women's MMA, and she's a tough, tough fighter. And Megan Anderson laid them hands on Charmaine Tweet. So I'm still rooting for Megan. I love you, Megan Anderson. I hope to one day get an interview with you. But this is Tanya Evanger's time, guys. Tanya Evanger stepped in when nobody else would step in and fight Chris Cyborg. And Tanya Evanger, she didn't care about who Cyborg was. She didn't care about the money. She didn't care about none of that. And it's sad that that's the only way that she got into the UFC was a fight with Cyborg. But the point is, Tanya Evanger is here. She's in the UFC. She's ready to blaze through this bantamweight division, and I am definitely rooting for her. I mean, someone with that kind of demeanor and that kind of attitude. I mean, guys, literally, like I'm texting and talking to Tanya Evanger, and she is the coolest person ever. And she stepped in the ring and she exposed Cyborg in a way. She definitely exposed Cyborg. I mean, even though that fight didn't go the way Tanya Evanger wanted to go, but Tanya got in there and she's tough. She grinded it out. She got a takedown. She landed some shots.
She had no excuses.
No excuses whatsoever. She didn't let any of the hype of Cyborg get into her head. She went in there, she fought, she took some of those big shots, she landed some shots. She got like I said, she got the clinch. She did great work in the clinch. She got the takedown, and that's the thing that I like about Tanya Evanger, guys. And she will be live with us next week at 9:30 on Tuesday on live right here on Sports Scrutiny Live. We will be interviewing Triple Threat Tanya Evanger. So if you guys have any questions for Tanya, please come in and let us know. Let her know anything you want to ask her.
But make sure you guys leave a comment down below the video at the end of the show, letting us know because we check all of that.
Yes, we check all that, guys. Definitely, she'll be live with us. She'll be on for about 20 minutes. Tanya, I texted her right before the show and told her we're definitely going to be shouting her out and definitely getting her in. So Tanya, we are stoked and we are so ready for you to get in here and talk to us. Like I said, we love your attitude, we love your spirit, your tenacity. I'm so ready to see you fight. I'm so ready to see you get into this bantamweight division because I mean, these girls ain't ready for somebody like Tanya. You know what I'm saying? Like Tanya Evanger's gonna get in there and beat half of these girls. She's gonna beat these girls up. That's what's going. Tanya Evanger gonna get to the bantamweight division and she's gonna beat these girls up. And I can't wait to see it happen. So stay tuned with us next week, 9:30, right here. Hit the like button, guys. Like us. If you scroll up on the page where you're watching us, hit the like button. Let us know you're here. Rob, that's all I got, man.
That is gonna be the end of the show. So I thought it was pretty good. We touched base on a lot of things, And I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like. If you didn't, then don't.
Hit the
But
dislike.
everybody here, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and make sure you hit that bell that's to the right of it so you can know when we come live. Keep in mind,
Yeah, absolutely.
We do check all the comments, so if you have anything that you want to give us some feedback or whatnot, you can leave a comment down below at the end of the show. I will be checking that. Check back.
Right there, y'all.
Check back.
Right there.
Yeah, check back every so often. Come back to the channel. I'm gonna try to keep the message of the day kind of updated frequently on what's coming up. I'm gonna start doing that more often. So as of the what's this, week 4, week 3 that we're doing this? What week is this? Week 4?
This is week 4, bro.
Week 4.
Week
Episode
4.
number 4. That's Sports Scrutiny Live. SSL. It was good. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah. Success.
I guess we're out.
We are out, guys. About us, like us, and share us. Peace out.